Hey everyone, it's Cyrano, and today I'm going to do my review on Dungeon Siege 3. Now, I'm a pretty big Dungeon Siege fan, and I played the first one, and I played the second one. I preferred the second one. And the third one, when I heard it was coming out, I thought, great. As I heard more details about it, that it was going to be console focused, and after watching some trailers, I thought, this looks more like Diablo Siege. And it sort of is, but it doesn't quite get there. Now, in Diablo, you have your character, you level it up, you sort of customize it yourself, and you get to play with other people online. Now, what differs in this game is you get to do that for yourself, but you don't do that for any people who play with you. So, in this environment, the game tends to be more of a co-op game, more than a Diablo clone, where you might play it through from start to end all at once, and then so you might replay again on a harder difficulty, but you'll have to start again with a brand new character. And in this case, the game is more like Dark Alliance for the PlayStation 2, which isn't bad. I'm a big Dark Alliance fan after all. Now, the game's graphics, very sharp. The colours are very beautiful. I wouldn't say that they are the best graphics I've ever seen, but they represent the game very well. Everything is very easy to identify. There's no trying to guess. The combat animations are very smooth. If you're playing on the PC, you might find the controls to be a bit weird. It's like the mouse is emulating a controller. And because of that, it very much isn't like Diablo. But because of that, you also get more of a, I don't know, streamlined combat. Diablo seems to be where you fire off a couple of skills all the time and you repeat those skills over and over and over again. And it always has the same attack animation. Where this game, every time you use an actual attack, like that, see that charge? It's epic. I mean, it really feels energetic. You feel powerful. And I have to say that everything is quite deadly as well. You don't have healing potions as you do in Diablo or Dark Alliance. You have up to 5 defensive orbs that you get. Whenever you take damage, you get these defensive orbs. And you can use those to use defensive powers to heal yourself. Effectively, you have your normal attacks, you use your offensive powers which require focus, or the mana bar there, the blue bar, and you also have, under the blue bar there, are your defensive powers. So that charges up as you get hit.
Good thing Roderick sent you. We wouldn't have survived. You have our thanks.
This here is one of the conversations. It's very much like Mass Effect. It even has the same control wheel to it, where you get to choose what you want to say. Now, I found a few bugs in the conversations. There'll be times when your character is literally standing backwards with their back towards the person they're talking to, and the head of your character is twisted around facing the guy, which is just very poor. I mean, it's like no one played the game before they released it. It seems like such a minor thing that they could have fixed. Now, every character has multiple attack modes. So this guy here has two-handed weapon mode, which does a lot of AoE attacks, and it does more damage overall than the shield and sword mode, which has stuns and that sort of thing. This game isn't about what your gear is. You really do have to concentrate on dodging and blocking and running around your enemies, especially if you're the melee character.
So you are the ones who fight for the Iron Mountain Dogs. This boundary is ours now. Never be slaves again.
The boss battles are very raid-like, with each boss battle having their own set of moves that they do. As you can see here, this guy can kill me quite quick. You have to keep dodging his attacks. Every boss is almost like this in a way, where their attacks will generally kill you in about 3 hits. So you really have to work out how to kill them. As you can see here, I've got a defensive ability on, which heals me on every hit that I do, as well as every couple of seconds. I have a companion in this one. As you play through the entire game, you'll have a companion with you. Now they will be computer controlled if there's no one else around. Someone can join your game at will. You can set the multiplayer up so that anyone can come and join. But they won't be using their own characters. That's the big flaw in the multiplayer in this. Effectively, it kills online multiplayer. With this game, you have to play with your friends if you want to play multiplayer. And if you do that, you'll get a hell of a lot of enjoyment out of it. As you can see, this here is the GUI for the equipment. There's a range of different abilities. It tells you on the right hand side, armor, stagger on this item. Stagger is a stun effect, so you've got plus 28 to having a chance of causing a stun effect. I had one item with 144, which would stun regularly. 28 doesn't so much. Okay, every time you go to equip something, in the middle of the screen here it will come up saying your plus and minuses of what you'll get. So it might say minus 72 stamina, but you'll gain a lot of armor. The stats are very weird in that they don't have stamina and armor on the same item most of the time. They'll probably give you one defensive thing, one offensive thing. As you can see, there's 3 party members. Deeds are sort of like achievements. When you level up, you don't get to add stamina, agility, will and all that. You only get those by getting these deeds. The lore here, there's a lot of it. And this game combines both the first and the second game storylines into one, really. And if you want to read on the backstory, there's a hell of a lot there to read. Now with abilities, when you level up, you get to unlock one of these abilities. As you use it, the mastery bar will go up. When you reach maximum mastery, you can unleash an empowered version of that, which uses up your defensive cooldowns in an offensive way and adds an additional effect. Every time you level up, you also get to customize each ability with 2 other abilities. One's usually defensive and one usually is offensive. And you can have a measure of the 2 if you want.
And
here you can see the conversation wheel in use.
Washed with innocent blood. 30 years, and nothing has changed.
The conversations can go on quite a while too.
The Queen asked me to spare your life. Yield, and no harm will come to you.
Have entrenched themselves. Is there no place in Ebb safe from their oppressive dogma?
And you can see this character here who's with me now. He has AoE attacks. Effectively, he's one of the mages. And I find his attacks generally to just be so distracting that I can't concentrate on my fighting if I'm a lay character. But he works very well with another ranged player. As you can see, there's a huge amount of zones. 4 or 5 zones. If someone dies, as you can see, you just res them up.
That's a great improvement.
As you can see, all those dodging moves, you have to move out of the way of your opponents or block them. Every time you block, you lose focus though. Generally what you'll find is each zone has its own creatures. They aren't really recycled too much. The story, one could say, is quite generic, but there is high production values here. It's told very well. The voice acting is all good. I especially like the goblins. Most fantasy series make goblins out to be extremely stupid, especially Dungeons and Dragons, where you're just going around killing them. But they're actually a part of the community in this game, which just seems to make goblins much more interesting. The technology period in this game is something like the 1500s. You've got gunpowder that's pretty much just invented. And you've still got your swords, your bows, you've got guns, cannons, and you've got a lot of clockwork stuff, automatons, and that sort of thing. So if you're a steampunk fan, you might actually like the way the world is portrayed in Dungeon Siege 3. There's 30 levels in total, and if you get to max level, you won't be able to max out all your skills. One big complaint I've got is with the map system. There is no major map you can bring up on your whole screen, especially if you get lost looking for a quest. Sometimes I've been left to wander around looking where to complete a quest. Alright, so we're up to the final part of my video, and I just wanted to show some of the boss battles and how involved they can be. So you saw one of the previous ones, and now you'll see one of the ones closer towards the end. This war beast is an absolute bitch to kill, especially if you're a melee character. So look at that, 900 damage out of my 1600 hit points. Overall, I really like this game. It's definitely, if you like co-op play, something to play through. I got 14 hours out of it, and that's with me having to repeat some of the bosses from dying. It might be easier if you actually have two real players doing it. Sometimes the AI, as you can see here, just gets stuck in mobs and won't res you. It's too stupid to get around. But most of the time the AI is pretty decent. There is no local co-op on the PC, at least I couldn't find out how to do it. So if you want to play co-op on the PC, at least you're going to have to get 2 copies and 2 computers. Dungeon Siege 3, it's not a bad game. I would have to give it an 8 out of 10 just because it is well made. It reminds me of Dark Alliance on the PlayStation 2, and it seems that is what it's trying to be. So if you're a fan of Dark Alliance but you're not necessarily a fan of Dungeon Siege, you'll want to play this. Dungeon Siege fans, however, might be a bit disappointed, especially with the controls, which seem to have an emulated feel to them. Although I think even emulated, my controls are sharper than if I was trying to play with a controller. This is Cyrano, and thanks for watching.